Elon Musk is planning something on the moon that sounds completely unreal. In 2028, Elon Musk wants to start humanity's boldest experiment yet. Not just visiting the moon, not just planting a flag, but actually living there. SpaceX's plan is called Moonbase Alpha. Musk also calls it AA City, short for Audacity and Lunar City. And honestly, the name fits perfectly. This idea is daring, risky, and unlike anything humans have ever tried before. Instead of building a traditional moon base with separate buildings, SpaceX wants to do something much simpler and much crazier. They want to turn a single Starship rocket into the base itself. Yes, the rocket becomes the home.
Starship Human Landing System, or HLS. During Artemis 3, NASA's Space Launch System rocket will launch 4 astronauts aboard the Orion spacecraft for their multi-day journey to lunar orbit.
The base is planned for the edge of Shackleton Crater near the moon's south pole. This location is special for 2 huge reasons. First, sunlight. The rim of this crater gets light almost all the time. Most places on the moon go dark for 2 weeks straight. This spot does not. That means steady power. Second, water. And deep inside the crater, scientists believe there is frozen water trapped in permanent shadow. That water can be cleaned and split into hydrogen and oxygen. Oxygen helps astronauts breathe. Hydrogen and oxygen together make rocket fuel. That means future spacecrafts might not need to bring all their fuel from Earth.
With increased reflectance when illuminated with laser pulses sent from the spacecraft. Temperature readings reveal areas where it's cold enough for water ice to be stable.
Here is where SpaceX flips the rulebook. Instead of shipping prefabricated habitats or building inflatable domes, SpaceX plans to use the Starship itself as the habitat. The rocket already has life support systems and storage space built in. Why throw that away? This idea is not totally new. In the 1970s, NASA turned part of a Saturn V rocket into Skylab. It worked. Skylab cost far less than the International Space Station, which took decades and about $150 billion to assemble. SpaceX is taking that old idea and scaling it up massively. Starship is not like any spacecraft before it. Inside, it has about 1,000 cubic meters of pressurized space. That is already enormous. But SpaceX plans to go further. After landing on the moon, astronauts would convert Starship's empty fuel tanks into living space. Those tanks are huge. Once modified, they could add another 1,400 cubic meters of usable room. That more than doubles the total space, all from one launch. SpaceX is aiming for launch costs under $10 million per Starship flight. If they succeed, this becomes the cheapest living space ever built beyond Earth. No massive construction missions, no years of assembly, no endless launches of tiny modules. Just land one ship and start living inside it. That is why this plan is shocking people. Now comes the part that sounds totally insane. After Starship lands vertically on the moon, SpaceX plans to knock it over on its side, on purpose. Why? Because when Starship stands upright, only the top section is easy to use. Most of the interior is tall, narrow tank space. But when you lay it down horizontally, the entire body becomes usable. A 50-meter-long, 9-meter-wide tunnel of space. It turns the rocket into a long, open living area instead of a tall stack of floors. Very carefully, the moon's gravity is only 1/6 of Earth's, which does help. Still, the surface is dusty and slippery. Before tipping anything, engineers would compact the ground using engine blasts or heavy equipment to make a solid base. Then there are 2 main options. One option uses heavy-duty cables attached near the top of the Starship. Large lunar rovers would slowly pull the ship sideways, acting like a giant lever. Another option uses a powerful electric winch anchored to something solid like a rock, a steel spike driven deep into the ground.
They hit top speeds of 6 miles an hour. But on the moon, that's a wild ride.
Man, this is really a rock and rollin' ride, isn't it?
Once Starship is horizontal, the real work begins. Astronauts would remove leftover rocket hardware inside. Then they would build a long internal floor down the center of the ship. Think of it like turning like a giant metal tube into a hallway. Walls go up, lights are installed, air systems are added, water pipes, wires, everything needed for daily life. Now, over time, the inside could include sleeping areas, workstations, a kitchen, exercise equipment, and even entertainment screens. A moon apartment with an Earth view? I mean, come on. Converting the fuel tanks into living space is not easy. Estimates suggest about 165 workdays to complete the full expansion. Around 60 of those days are just for tank modification. That is exhausting labor in bulky spacesuits surrounded by sharp dust with constant risk of leaks. This is where robots come in. Robotic helpers, possibly humanoid ones, could handle much of the heavy lifting and precision work. That keeps astronauts safer and speeds things up.
Will feature a futuristic lunar cabin, a rover for the astronauts to drive around on the surface, and even a mobile home.
Now, a base cannot survive without energy. The location near Shackleton Crater is perfect for solar power. The sun stays low on the horizon but shines almost constantly. Solar panels on the crater rim could generate more power than similar panels on Earth. There is no atmosphere to block the light. This power could run life support, science equipment, 3D printers, rovers, and communications non-stop, enough for a small crew of 4 to 6 people. Even with near constant sunlight, backups still matter. Some companies are exploring ways to beam concentrated sunlight using special mirrors or lenses. This could boost power during emergencies or equipment failures. Now, the idea sounds futuristic, but it could add flexibility if done safely.
But once it's done, we'd have a super efficient lunar power plant, churning out power 24/7.
Starship alone is impressive, but long missions need more space. That is where 3D printing comes in. Using lunar soil, machines could print walls, floors, and structures directly on the moon. New labs, storage rooms, extra living quarters, these printed modules could attach to Starship, slowly forming a larger base, a mix of metal rocket and moon-made buildings.
This lunar dust could be mined to extract water, bound together to build structures, and used to provide nutrients for crops. We've only just scratched the surface on what we can achieve using lunar regolith as a natural resource.
The moon has no atmosphere. That means no protection from radiation or small meteorites. The solution is simple and ancient. Bury the base. Covering the habitat with about 5 meters of lunar soil blocks most of the harmful radiation and absorbs small impacts. Robotic cranes or scooping machines would pile soil over the Starship, turning it into a protected underground shelter. It is not pretty, but it works.
Them from absorbing light. NASA and its commercial partners are developing technologies to address these challenges and turn lunar regolith from a problem into part of the solution for a sustainable future.
The plan is not just about living on the moon. It is practice. The moon is harder than Mars in many ways. No atmosphere, strong radiation, long nights, sharp dust everywhere. If humans can survive here, then Mars becomes much more realistic. The moon becomes a testing ground for off-world life.
And let's begin with one that has a number of both. Namely, that setting up a base on the moon will help us learn better how to do so on Mars. On the one hand, yes, this is very true.
This leads to a key idea called in situ resource use. Instead of bringing everything from Earth, you use local materials. Lunar soil contains oxygen locked inside rocks. With heat and electricity, that oxygen can be extracted. For breathing, for fuel, labs have already proven that this works. That oxygen could fuel starships on the moon, lowering the cost of space travel dramatically.
Will take their payload and deliver it to a reactor. NASA brought 2 prototype reactors to Hawaii.
Elon Musk does not want another short visit like Apollo. Apollo missions were historic, but brief. The longest stay was just 3 days. This time, the goal is endurance, living, working, failing, learning, building a future beyond Earth. And if this plan works, everything about space exploration changes. This is not science fiction anymore. It is a risky, bold plan, and it might be humanity's next giant leap.